He never noticed the way she stared at him, her perfectly manicured fingers tightening around the glass, her heartbeat quickening every time he laughed. To her, he looked like a man who had no idea he was about to change her life. To him, she was just another guest at the neighborhood barbecue. What neither of them knew was that by the end of that night, a single dad flipping burgers would be standing at the edge of the biggest twist of his life, while a billionaire heiress tried to understand why her chest hurt every time he smiled at someone else. And when their worlds finally collided, it wouldn't be wealth or status that decided their fate, only the truth of a heart she never thought she still had. The sun had barely dipped behind the rooftops when the small community park filled with laughter, chatter, and the smell of grilled barbecue. Ethan, sleeves rolled up, apron messy, hair slightly damp from the heat of the grill, stood at his station flipping burgers with the quiet concentration of a man who took pride even in the smallest tasks. His 8-year-old daughter Lily danced around him with the kind of joy that only children who feel safe carry in their eyes. "Daddy, that one is burning," she shouted, pointing. Ethan chuckled. "That's why you're my quality inspector, Lil." He wasn't a chef. He was a contractor, doing extra work whenever he could, fixing fences, repairing roofs, cooking at community events, anything to make ends meet after his wife left 2 years ago. Life had gotten simpler, heavier, quieter, but Lily kept him moving. Across the park, a black luxury car pulled up, a little too shiny for a neighborhood barbecue. People stared. Someone whispered, "Is that?" Then they went silent because everyone knew her face from news articles. Ariana Vale, one of the youngest billionaires in the country. CEO of Vale Tech after her father's passing. A woman whose life looked polished, perfect, untouchable. She stepped out wearing simple jeans and a soft white top, as if she wanted to blend in. But the aura of someone who had lived too many years under pressure followed her like a shadow. She looked around at the families laughing, kids playing, couples sharing plates, things her money had never been able to buy her: warmth, normalcy, peace. She didn't come because she knew anyone here. She came because her therapist said, "Try attending a small community event. You might find something your world never gave you." But the last thing she expected was to find it standing behind a grill. Her eyes locked on Ethan the moment she saw him. He wasn't glamorous or polished. His shirt clung to his back from the heat. His hair was messy. Yet something in the way he laughed with his daughter, effortless, warm, so real, pulled her in like gravity. She stood there longer than she realized, until Lily walked up to her. "Hi. Do you want a burger? My daddy makes the best ones." Ariana blinked, startled out of her trance. Yes. I'd love one." Lily grabbed her hand without hesitation, dragging her to the grill, and Ariana followed like a child being led somewhere unknown but strangely safe. "Daddy, this lady wants a burger." Ethan looked up, smiled politely, and said, "Of course. Welcome. Rare, medium, or well done?" Ariana opened her mouth to answer, but the words got tangled in her throat. She was used to boardrooms, not barbecues. Used to being bowed to, not asked simple questions by a man who didn't know who she was. "Medium," she said softly. He nodded and got to work. No recognition in his eyes. No stiffness. No fear. Just a man cooking a burger. Ariana felt her shoulders loosen when he handed her the plate. Their fingers brushed, and a tiny jolt shot through her chest. She stepped back, almost embarrassed by her own reaction. "So, you're new here?" Ethan asked, wiping his hands. Yes. Just wanted to experience something different," she said awkwardly. "Well, you're welcome here anytime," he replied with a genuine smile. This neighborhood runs on community. And Lily's approval. She's basically the boss. "I am." Lily shouted from somewhere behind them. Ariana laughed, a sound she hadn't heard from herself in years. "I think I like it here." For the next hour, she stayed by the grill, asking him questions, learning about Lily, listening to Ethan talk with passion about cooking, parenting, surviving alone, and trying again every day. She didn't tell him about her billions. She didn't mention her company. He seemed to like her as a person, not an asset, and she couldn't bear to break that spell just yet. But as the night deepened, someone recognized her. Ariana Vale. What is she doing here? Phones came up. People started whispering. Ethan turned, confused, then looked at Ariana. Her face had changed. The softness vanished. Her shoulders stiffened. The walls came up. "You're that Ariana Vale?" he asked carefully. Her throat tightened. "Yes. I'm sorry." I didn't want to make it weird. Lily blinked up at her. You're famous. Ariana forced a smile. Just busy. Ethan didn't pull away. He didn't suddenly change his tone. He didn't treat her differently. Well, your burger's still free, he said gently. And you're still welcome here. Her chest trembled. Thank you, she whispered, but the whispers grew louder. People approached for photos. Ariana felt cornered, suffocated, and Ethan noticed he stepped in front of her, blocking people gently. Folks, let the lady enjoy the evening. This isn't a press event. His voice was firm, warm, protective. A billionaire had boardrooms that feared her, but she had never had someone stand for her. Something inside her cracked open, but just as she exhaled, an older woman approached Ethan. You should talk to someone like her. Maybe she'll finally give you the job you need, she said loudly. Ariana's eyes widened. Ethan froze. Lily looked confused. The spell shattered. Ariana stepped back, whispering, maybe I should go. And Ethan, torn between embarrassment and the sting of being judged by his own community, watched her walk away. He didn't chase her, but Lily tugged his hand, whispering, Daddy. She looked sad. Ethan stared at the ground. Yeah, sweetheart. I think she was. And from her car, Ariana looked back through the window, staring at him, the single dad behind the grill, wondering why leaving felt like a mistake. That night, they both went home thinking about each other, unaware of the storm waiting for them tomorrow.